And it's live.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the green room of the world famous Emo Dad podcast. Got a very exciting guest tonight. Might be morning where you are. Let's not worry about that right now. Let's just play the Emo Dad music after I say, "My name is James," and he says,
My name is Matt.
Hi. Am I the
Oh,
wrong way?
hello. Oh, yes,
"This
sideways.
is going to go really badly for the next
Oh,
hour."
I know what to do. I know what to do. It's because, hold on. I need to there we go. I think this will, because you want widescreen, I assume,
There
right?
we go.
Is that good?
That looks
So good.
perfect. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, we're good, thank you. We're good.
What material is the thing on the wall?
This, everyone always says that this looks like an insane asylum. It's supposed to, everyone, and I'm like, it's supposed to be like a record, like a studio booth. Like that was the inspo, but I don't know what material it is. It's like, it's a headboard. Um,
Oh,
but it like goes across my whole wall. I don't know. Young
incredible.
me was like, this will be so cool. But everyone's
Right.
like, it looks like an insane asylum. So
Does it go around the whole room?
no, just the whole like
Okay,
wall
fine.
of my bed.
You don't need to show us your tour around the bedroom. Unless you want to, but I'm
Do
sure you
you
don't.
want the house tour?
I
So welcome.
absolutely do, but
Yeah,
Matt's
James
not going to
does,
let
so I'm gonna stop.
me.
Thank you for joining us.
Oh my God, of course. Sorry I had to move it.
That's not a problem. We don't really have lives, so it didn't really change much for us.
Perfect. Perfect.
So first question is, what do we call you?
Lolo is my nickname. It was my nickname before it was my artist name, so you could
Hmm,
call me that.
call you that.
Yeah.
Great, perfect. So, if you're ready, we will
Yeah.
get cracking. We'll get cracking.
I'm
So we
ready.
always
Crack
we
away.
always ask all our guests the same first question, which is what is your earliest or what was your earliest memory of music?
My earliest memory of music, well, I guess a couple. Like I remember hearing my dad and mom just like singing 80s songs in the car. Like I don't even know what. But my earliest memory of like me performing music, I guess, would have to be like I used to put on like a little tie and sing Avril Lavigne or
Nice.
American Idiot. Like I remember having those like my first CD I ever bought, which I actually have no memory buying it with my allowance. But I know that that was my first CD, and I have memories like being in my basement, putting on shows for my parents and performing American Idiot.
What, in full? The whole album?
No, definitely no. Yeah, yeah, in full as a 7-year old. Yeah, no, no, I'm not in full, but I just remember like I remember doing like Boulevard of Broken Dreams and
Nice.
American Idiot the song. Like I remember doing those, but I don't. I think I used to skip like a bunch of them. Like I definitely skipped Jesus of Suburbia. It's too long.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's a long one, right? It's
I couldn't
probably
get I yeah. I thought that like at the time I was like all these songs are so long and they have so many different parts because I didn't understand that like She's a Rebel and Give Me Novocaine. I thought that was one song. Like I didn't I had no idea what was going on. I was a child.
many of us still don't.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what drew you to kind of playing music and writing songs?
Honestly, I never thought I would be someone to write songs. I always wanted to be a performer. My dream used to be on Broadway, actually.
Yeah.
Um, but, and I wanted to be a singer, but I did not want to write songs. I always kept a diary and I would like rip it up into little pieces and throw it in the trash because I was so scared that my mom was going to come in and read it. Like the thought of people reading my diary entries gave me so much anxiety that I had to just like rip it up and I had these like empty like book binder things like or whatever this part of the book is called and now I do that for a living, so it's just hilarious. I think young me would be like, you're so embarrassing. But I started writing songs because I started playing guitar when I was in grade 9, and I went I went away to sleepover camp, and I came back, and my sister in 1 month, my little sister knew how to play guitar, and I was like, what? Okay, so it's easy then? Like, and then I was like, I want to learn how to play guitar. And then my guitar teacher is the one that actually was like, oh, you have a good voice. You should write songs. And I was like, no, not happening. Never, not
Mm.
gonna happen. And he was like, I'm not coming back next week unless you try writing a song. And I was like, oh my God, I better write one, because I wanted him to come back. And I loved my guitar lessons. And I remember sitting on my bed. I remember the song that I wrote, and I remember thinking, wow, this is amazing. And I ended up like writing 5 more that night. And I was so excited to show him. And that moment, I was like, I don't fuck Broadway. I want to be like an artist, which thank God, because Broadway seems way harder. So,
So what age were you said ninth grade? What we're
yeah.
in the UK, so that's
Oh, so
what is
that's
that, like
like,
12 or something?
no, ninth grade is like 15 or
Oh,
14.
okay. Okay.
14 or 15. Yeah,
Okay.
14.
Nice.
Yeah.
And the internet tells us that you started playing open mic nights.
Yeah,
What
I
age was
started
that?
just like shortly after.
Okay.
I would like go to open mics because I hadn't like no idea how to get connected in the music industry. I didn't know anyone. My No one in my family knew anyone, so I was like, okay, I have to start putting myself out there and start like making videos and stuff. And I think I was like doing like Instagram videos at the time because TikTok
Mm.
wasn't even a thing yet.
Yep.
Um, yeah, and then from there I just kind of like met someone who knew someone else who knew someone else. It was just like very organic and slow. But then eventually I found people to make my first EP with, which that EP never even came out, thank God, because it was awful. But then eventually then I made another one, and that came out, which was also kind of awful. But then it led me to um my next, bunch of music that I do like.
Mm.
So yeah,
Okay, so were you at these open mic nights? Were you playing your own songs or covers or a bit of both?
bit of both. Yeah,
Okay,
covers,
cool.
probably mostly covers. But I did have my own songs, which like never saw the light of day because they were terrible, I think. I mean, they were like a 15, 16-year-old song. So, but I mean, I guess now, like Billie Eilish was that age when she started, but I was not naturally good, I don't think.
I'm
I had to
sure you I'm
practice a
sure
lot.
you were. I'm sure you were. What was your favorite song to play at those nights?
Oh my God. I really liked, this is so random. I really liked playing Ho Hey by the Lumineers. I remember that. And I remember like, I feel like I was playing like Chandelier by Sia. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It was really random. I wasn't like, it was just me and a guitar, right? So it wasn't like, didn't have a drummer or
Mm.
an electric guitar. It was just like me and acoustic guitar. So I was kind of like, back then I still am, but I was really into like John Mayer and Gavin DeGraw and James Morrison and like the like folky guys kind of.
Hmm.
So it's probably more so that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Nice. Over to James.
It was a spectacular period for hats. Some absolutely
Oh, those hats.
award. You
Yes.
remember
I
the
know
foot the
exactly. Of course.
the hats of it, and then occasionally on the internet, one of the milliners from that period pops up on my feed, and I have to watch a guy making a hat with this. Sorry, back to
Yeah,
the.
those hats were something. The feather and yeah,
Oh yeah, oh yeah, good times.
good
So
times.
the sweater collection,
Uh,
which right. I was trying, I was trying to figure out which one it was on the happiness scale of early EPs. Which was it? Are you? Do you listen to? Right. So that is which number EP is that for you?
okay, so that's my first EP that I ever released.
That is
Not
the
the first
oh
one that I ever made, though.
okay
Yeah, first one that I
okay.
released. But I mean, I think that I just feel like I sound so young and like my voice wasn't as developed. And I think like so I like I love some of the songs on there. I like my song Yours, and I feel like that
Okay.
was like more true to myself. But basically what happened was that first song got on the radio here in Canada, and I was like, oh my God, like I'm on the radio now. Like I need to make stuff like poppier so I could get another song on the radio. And I feel like the production I didn't like maybe wasn't as authentic to me, and I was like kind of just trying to do this radio thing, which ended up not working, which was a good lesson to me in authenticity. Like I feel like you can't pretend to like be something that you're not, and nothing ever got on the radio again from that. But then it really, after I wrote that, I was like, okay, wait, hold on, what are we doing here? What are we doing here? And then it was COVID, and then I had like a long break to really like think about what kind of music I wanted to make, and that's when I wrote Hate You, and that felt really good and people loved that. And that was like right at the same time that like the pop punk rock resurgence was coming back, and I just kind of got really lucky with that, and I rolled with that, and here we are today.
Was it the because you is it fair to say that you kind of got more popular online during the COVID period when you were
Yeah.
posting
Oh,
a lot of stuff?
way more. Yeah.
What was it? What was it? Do you like social media?
No, does anyone?
Right, right.
Good
We
answer.
wondered. Yeah, good.
Oh my God, no,
Okay,
I hate it. It's the bane of my existence. Like,
okay.
but at the same time, I have to thank it, because if not for social media, people wouldn't have found me. I mean, like, it's such a double-edged sword, because it's like you have to be posting, and you can't just be an artist anymore. You have to be a content creator. And like
Mhm.
anyone that's like too cool for school and is like, no, I'm an artist. I'm not doing this TikTok bullshit. It's like, okay, well, you're not gonna get, I mean, 9 out of 10 times you're not gonna get noticed then. And I always say to myself, because I know people were like, would Kurt Cobain do this? Like, would Billy Joe Armstrong do this? Like, you know what? And then I always say to myself, like, you know what? Maybe. Like, I think Billy Joe Armstrong would have done anything to succeed back then. And so maybe he would have done TikTok if that was the time, you know? Like, he was probably doing other stuff that he thought was cringe, you know? So, or maybe he wasn't. I don't know. But I feel like people were doing whatever it took to make it. And so right now, social media, unfortunately, is one of those things that it takes. So I'm doing it.
Do you we really enjoyed we were sort of going back and looking through
Yeah.
when we were listening to the music and looking back through your socials and stuff. We really enjoyed the covers of songs from the girls' point of view.
Oh, thank you.
And I noticed you posted recently whether you should do that again.
Yeah.
Was that really fun for you?
It was really well. Okay, so at first it was really fun, because I
Okay.
was like, oh, I could do it to this song, I could do it to that song. But then my videos really started blowing up, and it became like stressful, because I was like, oh my God, I
Okay.
need to deliver something just as good as the last one. And at the time, I had a manager who was really intense. And like, I remember I was hanging out with my friends or my family, and he'd call me and be like, why didn't you post the TikTok? And like, really stressed me
Right.
out. That's why he's not my manager anymore. Um, Peace and love to him though, but he was very intense. So that kind of like, and then I stopped doing them for a while because it caused me like actual trauma, and like
Right.
it was crazy. It really like rubbed me the wrong way. But also I got to a point where like I did all of the really sad songs that it would fit with, and then I couldn't, couldn't think of any more, and then I never did it again. But I'm like now, since like 4 or 5 years have passed, I'm sure there's a lot more songs that I could think of. But at the time, I was like, did all the songs that work.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And then when kind of coming out of COVID, I'm assuming
Mhm.
you were a lot more popular than you were going into COVID.
Yes.
So how did it feel coming out of that and starting to, I guess, tour for the first time maybe, or explore that kind of side of it?
Yeah. So basically, through COVID, when I was posting those covers, I got discovered by my publisher, who I'm still signed with today, APG.
Okay.
And so I got signed as a songwriter. And then they were like, you need to come out to LA. So I came to LA, and I was pretty much living in LA for a few months. I planned to go there for 2 weeks, and it was 3 months later, I was still there. and everything was kind of happening for me there because there's just so much more opportunity. And
Mhm.
I was writing with different people, I was meeting people, I was putting music out, and that is when I put a song out that got onto this playlist called Pop Punk's Not Dead. And Chad Gilbert from Newfound Glory, they had to cancel their tour during COVID, which was called Pop Punk Still Not Dead. And so he was like, okay, they needed an opener. So them, Simple Plan, and they were looking for an opener. And he typed in Pop Punk's Not Dead on Spotify.
No
His
way.
playlist came up, and I was the cover of the playlist because I had just had a song come out, and they put my song on at the top of the playlist. He clicked the first song. It was Death Wish, and he goes, "Yep, this is good." And they reached, and then my agent reached out to me saying, "Do you want to tour with Newfound Glory and Simple Plan?" And I was like, "Oh my god, yeah." So it's a really funny story, and I feel like that tour, which I almost didn't go on, by the way, because COVID kind of had a resurgence at the time, like
Mhm.
summer 2021, and Simple Plan backed out because they weren't comfortable. And then my agents were like, and my manager at the time was like, "You should back out because you make sense opening for Simple Plan, but Newfound Glory is a little bit heavier, and we don't think it's a good fit anymore." And I was like, "Okay, I mean, I don't know anything. I've never toured in my life. Like, I guess I should just back out." And I didn't know at the time that Chad had picked me. I thought that it was a Simple Plan thing. And I remember Chad DM'd me and he goes, "Hey, I heard that there's a possibility that you're pulling out of this tour." And I was like, "Oh, well, I don't know if your fans are going to like me." And he was like, "I found you. I listened to the song, and that I chose you because I know that our fans are going to love you. So you should really do the tour." And thank God that happened, because I think if I didn't do that tour, it would have been the biggest mistake of my life. I don't think I would be where I am today, because after that tour, first of all, it taught me so much. Like, it was my first tour ever, and Newfound Glory was so amazing. And I had so many amazing experiences. But also, that's kind of like what really jump started me. Because, like, yes, people knew me from the internet, but after that tour, people were like, "Oh, who's this Lølø girl? Like, that, who's this unknown girl opening for, Newfound Glory?" And Less Than Jake and Hot Mulligan were on that tour. And it was just like really, really good for me. And since then, I've just been up, 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 up. So I always like, when I think about the thought of pulling out of that tour, I actually get nauseous because I'm like, "Ugh, that would have been the biggest mistake of my life." And I'm so fucking thankful to Chad Gilbert, one, for discovering me, and B, for DMing me and saying, "What the fuck is wrong with you? Don't pull off this tour." So yeah.
So was that your first tour, that the
My
Newfound
first
Glory
tour,
tour?
and it was
Oh
a
my God.
64-day tour. Yeah, which
And
is it was a huge long tour. And we were like, me and my band, we're all from Toronto. We were the only Canadians because Canada was so locked down. I feel like America was a lot less locked down, but no one we knew was on tour. Like, and they're all like professional musicians. Like, we were the
mm,
only people from Canada that were like on the road, and it was like crazy. And like, back in Toronto, we were completely locked down. You couldn't get your nails done. You couldn't get your hair cut. And we're like, we're in Vegas, we're in LA, we're in, like, we're in New York City. Like, we were all over the place, and it was so much fun.
so these are not small shows, right? These
No,
are
they
big
were big
size.
shows. Honestly, I was really scared, more so when it was Simple Plan, because I was like, I grew up being a huge fan of Simple Plan. And I feel like as a Canadian, we just didn't know Newfound Glory as much. Plus, I think they were a little bit like above like my age group of like
Hmm.
loving. So I knew who Newfound Glory was, but I honestly like didn't really know any of their songs. But whereas Simple Plan, that was like on the playground, I was singing like I'm just a kid.
Mm.
So I was so nervous. But then I remember like once Simple Plan backed off, I was way less nervous because I was like, okay, whatever. I'm going in front of a bunch of strangers. They already expect me to be bad. All they have to do is be a little bit less bad than they think. Like that, like the bar is low. Okay. But I still was nervous, but like I remember the first show I got on to stage, and like Newfound Glory fans, like there's a lot of like big guys, like, like
Yeah.
pop punk, like whatever. But then I remember I saw in the front row these two huge guys, tattoos everywhere. And at the time I was selling these hats that said "dumb bitch" in rainbow writing because it's one of my songs. And they were both these two guys that looked tough as fuck. They were wearing these "dumb bitch" beanies, my merch. They already bought it. They didn't even know who I was. They
Oh,
were just
they
like,
already
"Yeah,
had it.
I need that hat." And then I remember thinking to myself, it's all gonna be okay. We got this. And
Yeah, yeah.
it was great. Like, every day I went on stage and I went, make some noise if you don't know who the fuck I am. And the crowd went wild. And it was like a really good icebreaker.
And were the bands, obviously you mentioned Newfound Glory, were they good at kind of taking you under their wing and like supporting you and giving you advice and help?
Oh my God. They were so, like, Newfound Glory, like I couldn't have done anything without them. They really like were so nice. And they're like, if you ever have any questions, like, or ever
Mm.
want to talk, or like they're like, come in our green room, hang out, like ask us anything about touring, about this, about that. And Less Than Jake was on that tour. They were also amazing. Hot Mulligan was on that tour. And they had toured before, but like they're like road dogs now. They've toured so much,
Yeah, yeah.
but we became best friends with them too. And I think we all learned a lot from each other. I taught Tates how to vocal warm up, so I'm pretty sure he does that now because he's screaming. They're all screaming on stage.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, it was so much fun. But I learned a lot for sure.
amazing. Yeah, Newfound Glory you mentioned. The slightly older people that are probably into Newfound Glory. I was at their first ever UK show. It was in like a pub
Oh,
in London
oh my
back in the
God.
day. Yeah, awesome. Absolutely awesome.
Their show's amazing. I
Yeah.
literally like normally now that when I'm on tour as an opener, it's like I'm not watching the show every night because it's like I'm tired, I want to go eat, whatever. But on that tour, I watched their show every night, which is so
Mm,
not normal, I think, for an opener. But I was just in awe of them.
yeah. Are there any? Yeah, I mean, you toured with some great bands,
Yeah,
many of which we mentioned already. Are there any bands that you would love to go on tour with who you haven't
Green
played with
Day
yet?
for sure.
Okay,
Green
yeah,
Day and
it makes
Avril
sense.
Lavigne, I would love to open for Avril Lavigne. Like that would be such. Both would be such a dream because those were like my two favorites growing up.
Yeah,
And Simple Plan was one of my favorites, and that happened already. So check that off the list. But yeah, Green Day would be like ultimate dream, and Avril Lavigne.
that's not a bad couple of bands to go out with.
No,
Just some little Diddy stadiums, maybe.
yeah, no big.
No big deal. Go on, James.
Oh, I was enjoying the flow. Apologies. I have the ADHD and the autism, so I get so lost.
It's all good. Same.
Right. I believe my next section is your debut record, Falling for Robots and Wishing I Was One.
Yay.
Good times. What was it? Because you also write with other people, correct?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Like I
Yeah.
write with other people, I write for other people.
Oh. Does that how does a song start for you?
It really depends. I mean, when I am writing with somebody else, I will usually bring in like I have this idea, here's the chorus, or I
Mm,
have this title, like I want the song to be called You Turn Me On But You Give Me Depression, and I want the chorus to go uh, like this. What do you guys think? And they're like, that's great. Let's write a verse, or let's change the last line. I don't like
mhm.
pent up aggression, or whatever. Like, um, that kind of thing. Uh, but normally, well, it depends. When I was like first starting out with songwriting, I think like before my debut, I would really be looking, I would be like, this is my song. And someone would be like, oh, well, you should change this last lyric of the chorus that you're suggesting. And I'd be like, okay, yeah, I mean, you know better than me. You've been doing this longer. But now I'm pretty confident in my writing. So I will more so bring something in and be like, this isn't changing, but what else can we add to it? Kind of thing.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I guess that just comes
But
with the
every song's kind of different, like, or every situation is different. Um, but I very rarely walk into a room and say, I got nothing. What are the vibes today? Like I always have on my phone like a list of titles, a list of, voice notes of choruses or, like parts of songs. And then but yeah, I'm pretty choosy with my co-writers. Like it needs to be someone I'm really comfortable with or yeah. And then we make it happen. But it honestly depends. And then sometimes I just write the whole thing in my room and I'm like, I don't want to change a thing. So I just bring it into a producer and then we create it together. But the lyrics and melodies are already done. It's just like they need to add the guitars and the drums and, make it not sound like just a girl on a guitar in her bedroom. But sometimes we do leave it like that. So it really depends.
yeah. I'm gonna hold that thought. We'll come back to that thought because I've got a question very specific about that. But
Okay.
your that would make sense to me because your songs seem to have very clear concepts
I'm a
that are
concept girl.
then followed through, and I love that about them.
Thank you.
Um, where did the robots thing come from?
Okay, so the robots thing came from because so the first song that I wrote for my album, which at the time I didn't even know that I was making an album, but I wrote the song You and the Tin Man. And I wrote it and I was
Wow.
like, I was obsessed with it. That was one of the ones just I wrote by myself in my bedroom. I ran to like my publishing studio because I was like, I need to record this. It was my last day in LA and I was leaving that night and I was like, I need access to the studio and to record this. I love this song. And at the time I was writing my Overkill EP, or maybe my Debbie Downer EP. No, Overkill. And I was looking for just like one song to at the end. I always love when at the end of an EP or end of an album it ends on a slow song, like Time of Your Life is at
Hmm.
the end, you know? I just love that. And I was looking for a song like that, so I wrote Tin Man, but then I was like, this is too good to just throw on at the end and like be an album track. This is feels like a single to me. So I kind of pushed it to the side and then I wrote another EP and I was like, I don't want to throw it on that either. And then it was about 2 years later, I wrote this song called Wish I Was a Robot about kind of just like not wanting to have feelings and I'm too
Hmm.
oversensitive and over emotional.
Hmm.
And after I wrote it, I thought to myself, huh, that's funny. 2 years ago, I wrote this song called You and the Tin Man where I'm basically telling this robot guy to fuck off. And now I wish I was a robot. There's something really funny there. And then I wrote down into my phone, falling for robots and wishing I was one. And I was like, that's my album title. That is my album. That is like such an interesting catch 22, you know? And once I had that title, it was really easy for me to then piece in songs that I wanted to write. Because it was such a clear concept to me. And so that's how the robot thing came about. So really it's from You and the Tin Man and then yeah, and then I was like, oh, I say robot in both of these songs, like they should be pillars of the album. So
So interesting because that is really clear when you listen to the record and it feels like
mhm.
there's a wider story there when you're
Yeah.
listening and it's so interesting there was 2 years in between. So have
Yeah.
you got stuff? Are you banking stuff?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
definitely banking stuff. Well, especially because for my debut, it's like you have all the time in the world to write your debut album, you
Right.
know. I didn't know when I was writing it, but I knew that, oops, I knew that that song, um, I knew that was too special to like just throw out on an EP. Even though it ended up not even doing that well, that song, but it is a fan favorite. But like on streaming, I think like whenever I put out a slower song, no one wants that from me. They want like Debbie Downer. They everyone wants to hear upbeat shit from me, but I'm like, well, I'm sensitive.
No, not everyone. I fell head over heels in love with Snow in Berlin.
Oh, thank you.
And I listened to it an embarrassing amount of times.
Oh my God, thank you.
What?
That's a tear. That one's a tearjerker.
Because we got lucky enough to get you on the podcast. Can you tell me a little bit about that song?
Yeah. God, that song is so sad. I remember, well, I wanted it to just be like an interlude on the album. I
Oh,
that was another one where I just wrote in my room. And actually, that is I'm playing guitar on the record, which never happens because I'm not that good at guitar.
oh,
But we kind of wanted it to sound like just in my bedroom kind of thing. So we left me playing guitar on it. But yeah, that so actually it's a funny story because a fan um the first time I ever felt like, oh my God, I'm famous. But not famous, but like I was recognized in a Starbucks in Berlin. And
okay.
after that, I always wanted to, and it was snowing that day, and it was just such a magical day that I really just like felt great. And someone was like, you should write a song about this day or whatever. And so I always had the title Snow in Berlin in my phone. And then I had, this story that happened, not the story, but, this thing that happened to
Hmm.
me. And yeah, it just kind of came out and it was so sad. I was like crying while writing it. And I was like, this needs to be an interlude. And it's funny because my label, Hopeless at the time, was like, this is it. You've got a Christmas song. And I'm like, this is not a Christmas song. This isn't a Christmas song at all. They were like, it has snow in the title. I was like, okay, listen, if you want to put money behind it and market it as a Christmas song, I'm happy to have like, because I wasn't gonna put anything out in December.
Okay.
And they were like, let's put it out as a Christmas song. And so we did. And it was great because it had a little bit more oomph behind it in the marketing. And so I think it got way more streams than it would have if it was just like a true interlude. Or maybe it was always destined for good things because people seem to love it. But yeah, that one's sad as fuck.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I, that's why this is called the Emo Dad podcast.
Yeah, yeah,
We like the sad ones.
yeah.
Um, yeah, amazing. Funny, when you said Christmas single, I immediately assumed they would put like a choir and like a symphony orchestra and like the bells, like the whole
Yeah, no,
thing.
thank God
No,
not.
no. Okay, good. Um, Thank you. Thank you for explaining that story and for
No problem.
entertaining my terrible creative ideas. Um, the what was the reaction to this record when it came out?
People really loved it. I mean,
Mhm.
like I thought it was great reactions. I mean, it's funny because I think as an artist, we always want like you're always like daydreaming like, oh my God, I'm gonna put this record out and I'm gonna get nominated for a Grammy and I'm gonna be the biggest thing in the world because it's so amazing. And then so it never lives up to your expectation, I think. Like I don't want to speak for all artists, but I feel like we're all kind of like always hoping for the best possible outcome. But all of my fans love it. I love that it's like there's a whole world behind it. And I really brought that world to life when I went on tour and toured the album. And I travel with a robot now. He's my guy. He's part of my set. And yeah, I honestly I loved it so much, and I love my headline show so much that I've had troubles and like issues with my next album and my next headline tour. Now everything's great because it's coming out and I'm so happy and I love it so much and my show is gonna be amazing. But making it, I was like, this needs to be just as good, like
Mm.
if not better than my
Mhm.
debut headline and album. And so that was a lot of pressure because I loved it so much. I was like, oh my God, how can the next thing be better? But hopefully it is.
So obviously the album will be out when this comes out.
Oh,
So
nice.
congratulations on releasing your album.
Thank you. Woo! Oh my God, I got nominated for a Grammy, didn't
Yeah, I
I?
know, in like three
Oh,
days.
thank
It's
God.
amazing.
Thank God. Wow, that's crazy.
Um, how are you feeling about the release of the album as we sit here today?
I'm I'm feeling great. I feel like people are gonna love it. It is like a little bit different than my debut. I feel like my debut is, I don't know, maybe it's like a little bit more rocky, whereas like this new album is a little bit more, I mean, it's still pop rock, I would say, but I think
Mm,
it's leaning more like less Green Day, Weezer influences and more Michelle Branch and Ashley Simpson and Alanis Morissette kind of influences. It's like that kind of side of pop rock. So it is different, but it still has, my lyrics and my concepts. So I think that's what ties it all together to like still being the same. I feel like I'm always scared of like straying too far away from like the scene,
mm.
because I think I am on the verge of like, does she belong in the scene, does she not? I think it's a little bit like, yeah, people talk about whether I am, and I'm always like, I'm here for a good time. Like I'd love to be a part of it. And that was the music I listened to growing up and stuff, so I do love being a part of the whole scene, but we'll see what people think. I mean, I'm so curious, honestly. I'm always so curious how it's gonna go. What song? Like sometimes I'm like, oh, everyone's gonna love this song, and then everyone loves a different song. So I'm just curious to see the comments and the streams and the analytics and everything.
Do you like look at all the comments and the reviews and things?
Yes, yes. I mean, I probably shouldn't, but I do look. Sometimes when I'm feeling really masochistic, I look myself up on Reddit. But lately, honestly, it's been really like good things. I mean,
Yeah.
I remember last Warp Tour, like a year ago, when I got announced, half the comments were like, who? What the fuck is this bullshit? Which I anticipated, and like I kind of made my Warp Tour like video intro about that anyways. Like in the video, I announced that I'm like being on Warped Tour, and then my drummer looks at the Reddit comments and he's like, everyone's asking who? And so like I knew that was gonna happen. But this year when I announced myself, um, I had like 4 negative comments and like hundreds of positive ones. And I actually texted my management and like my team, and I'm like, oh my God, only 4 negative comments this year. The tides are changing. People like Lolo now. Or like people know who I am now. So I think it's cool.
Yeah, that is cool. Um, so we've been lucky enough to hear the whole album, because we were sent it because we were talking to you, obviously.
What are your
Uh,
thoughts?
well, I was just about to say, I really, really enjoyed it. Like
Thank you.
fucking like it's so good. I feel like it's. I wanted to try and avoid this word, but I think it's the best word for it. It feels like a more mature kind of version
Hmm.
from progressing from the I'm going to call the Robots album. Um, is that a fair comment, would you
Yeah, I
say?
think
Do you
that's
agree with
very
that?
fair.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. It's there's loads of different styles in there still, and I just really thought it was brilliant. Like
Thank you.
genuinely, not just saying
Thank
that.
you.
What was the writing process like for this one? Is it? I know it's a bit of a cliche, but is it really hard to write the second album?
It is. Well, because they say like you have your whole life to write your debut and then you have
Mm,
1 year to write the sophomore. And it's true. I think I signed to Fearless Records like a year ago. Yeah. And then they were like, we want to put the album, or maybe, yeah, I think it was a year ago. And they're like, we want the album out in April. And I'm like, oh, fuck, better start writing.
better get
Um,
cracking.
yeah, better get cracking. And it was stressful because I love my debut so much, but I already had started like after I finished Robots, it's like it came out in June, but I like had everything done in September already. So
Mm.
since then I was still like writing a lot all the time. So before I even signed with Fearless, I had a bunch of songs banked that I thought would be cool for the next album. And then some of them I even like American Zombie, for instance, I wrote like before my Falling for Robots Deluxe even came out, but because I was looking for songs for the deluxe, but then I was like, nah, this doesn't fit Robots, but I want this to fit like the next era. And I knew that I wanted my next era to be a little bit more of that like indie girl, like,
Mhm.
singer songwriter infused. But yeah, it was hard. And it also was hard because I had such a clear vision for my debut with that epiphany and the title. And for this album, I didn't think of the title till the 11th hour. Like, I had a list of titles and I was going through all of my songs on the album. And I was like, okay, what's all this about? Like, instead of having the title first, I was like, went through my songs that I wanted. And I was like, this is so messy and chaotic. Like this is about this, but this is about this, and fuck, they're all about like relationships or loss off. Like I could see people like commenting, like, all you write about is breakups or love, and I was like, oh, God forbid a girl spits out her feelings. And as soon as I had that thought in my head of my internal dialogue, I was like, ding. I
Yeah,
was like,
great.
that's what the album is called. So my indecisiveness and like procrastination helped me with the album title.
I like it. I like it. And who did you work with the same people that you were working with on the
So
previous album?
no, so
Okay.
same producer for half of it
Yep.
and new producers for the other half. So basically, like Mike Robinson, I did my whole album with him last time, and he's amazing. But this time I kind of tried a couple other producers, literally only because I didn't have time to fly to Nashville where Mike lives. And I was forced to kind of like, because I didn't want to meet new producers and work with new people. I was like, I just love Mike. I want to just work with Mike, but I had a time crunch and I was like, I need to like get sessions in with other people. And I ended up working with this guy Andrew Goldstein, who is amazing. I mean, he's had some like great songs and hits. um but that was when I wrote The Punisher. That was like my first song that I did with him, and we just wrote it over acoustic guitar. And then he was like, do I really need to add much to this? It sounds so good over just acoustic. Like, this is such a vibe. And I was like, huh, I love that. And
I
then,
like you.
yeah,
I
I was
like
like,
you.
I like, because honestly, so many times, like from when I first started, I had all different types of producers being like, we have to add big drums and guitars and whatever. And don't get me wrong, that's so great sometimes, but it was really nice having Andrew just be like, this is just so great the way it is. Like,
Mm.
let's not, sometimes less is more. And then I ended up doing Me with No Shirt On and Hung Up on You with him. And I feel like you can hear that all three of those were kind of like in the same world, and I love that.
You write such, as we've already kind of mentioned, such personal songs. And you said earlier about kind of throwing your diary, pages from the diary into the bin and stuff. How do you like? I can't comprehend. How do you deal with putting these personal thoughts out into the world like this? How do you deal with that?
I don't know. Everyone asks me that, and I'm like, I don't. I think the thing is that when I'm writing these songs, it's just pure, like, I'm not really thinking about selfishly. It's just like pure therapy. I'm not
Mm,
thinking about like putting it out or anything like that. I'm just thinking like, I need to get this off my chest. I need to feel better. And then I'm like, oh, this is a great song and blah, blah, blah. And then it's not until like 11:55 on Thursday, and the song's about to come out in 5 minutes, that I'm like, oh fuck, this
shit.
person's gonna hear it. My dad's gonna hear me with no shirt on, and I talk about sending a nude. Like, fuck. Um, yeah. So I should probably think more, but maybe I shouldn't. I've really wasn't. I think I used to think more, but this album I really kind of stopped thinking, and I was like, I'm gonna just word vomit, spit out my feelings, so to
Mm.
speak. And yeah, I mean, I think it's worked out. So
Yeah, I think that's probably the best attitude to have for
yeah,
it,
yeah.
really. It's like, I mean, how else can you deal with that? Um, and what were there any kind of influences that you had for this record that you were kind of music that you were enjoying at the time or at the moment that has come
Yeah,
through, do you
honestly,
think?
I was listening to a lot of Michelle Branch, Ashley Simpson.
Okay.
I was listening to like old Hilary Duff, Alanis Morissette, like Boy Genius, newer band. But they have been a huge influence on me for the last couple albums, just in terms of like songwriting and Phoebe
Mm.
Bridgers. Um, but yeah, I would say I was listening to a lot of that kind of stuff, like a lot of like, or Sheryl Crow. I was listening to a lot of Sheryl Crow.
Okay.
Yeah, I love her. Oh my God. I was like, I forgot about these songs. I would just like type in like 90s like rock women, and I like got so many bangers.
That's weird because that's what James types in Spotify every day.
Yeah, it's facts, facts. But also, I'm so glad you said Sheryl Crow. I have that in the notes. That it
Oh
sounds like a
wow.
little bit like Sheryl Crow. So amazing.
Thank
Like
you. That's
smashed
such a
it.
compliment. Thank
Yeah,
you.
smashed it.
Sheryl
Yeah, yeah.
Crow. What a I'm gonna have to revisit Sheryl Crow now.
Mate, it's
Um,
so good.
yeah, yeah. I remember rocking out to that when I was 15 or whatever it was back in the day. Um, kind of coming full circle. So you've mentioned kind of Broadway musicals being an inspiration. Um, could you ever see yourself being on Broadway or the
Oh my
West
God.
End?
Oh my God, West End. I would love to be on West End or Broadway. That would be so sick. I would love to do Broadway. I love like musical theater. I'm a musical theater kid, and I think it shows in my like when you see a show of mine, it is very theatrical. And like last year when I was doing my robots tour, I had like all these transitions and stuff from the Wizard of Oz, and my set was like all Wizard of Oz, and I love that. So yeah, I would love to, but I think also like my voice has changed a lot since I was a kid when I wanted to be on Broadway. Like I'm really raspy now, and not as like I used to sing like a Disney princess when I was younger. Um, but I would love to be. I think I just need to learn to be a better dancer and have more discipline. But I would love to be. I could be in like the Green Day musical, like an American Idiot. That would
Yes,
that would
of
work.
course. Yeah.
That would work.
I was gonna excluding the Green Day because I feel like that's an obvious one. I was gonna ask you where could you see yourself? What character on
Well,
Broadway could you
my
see yourself
dream
playing?
used to be to be Elphaba on Broadway. That was like the dream.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, nice. That's good on
Yeah.
doing all
Because
right for itself.
we
The old
all
Wicked
of
thing.
us know exactly what that is. For those
I
of
know what
us who
that is.
might not, me, what is that?
What is that? It's like the main character in Wicked, which is the prequel, The Wizard of
Oh,
Oz. So it was played by
oh,
Idina Menzel, but it just was so popular with oh my God, what's the actress's name in the new movie with Ariana Grande? Why am I forgetting
Yeah,
Elphaba's name?
the
She's British.
Cynthia.
Cynthia or Erivo. Yeah.
There we go. We got there
Yeah.
together. I
Yeah.
went to see the Wicked musical last year.
On West End?
I didn't like
Really?
it.
That's insane to me. Do you
I
want? Do you
thought,
like The Wizard of Oz?
yeah,
And you didn't
I,
love to
and
find
I,
out that the Wicked Witch wasn't actually wicked? Like, isn't that fucking crazy?
well, okay, yeah, but I mean the kind of the show.
What did you not like about it?
I
Yeah,
just thought it was boring.
just
Boring? What kind
Yeah,
of
honest.
musicals? What's your favorite musical? Now I need
Yeah,
to know.
yeah. What
I
is your favorite
like.
musical, Buck?
Oh, I feel like I'm being attacked now. I like Matilda is good.
Oh, I found Matilda kind of boring.
Oh, okay,
Interesting.
there you
Okay,
go.
so I think we have different
Shots,
style.
Um,
shots fired from
what
both
else? What else?
sides.
Starlight Express. That's
I
good.
don't even know what that is.
Is that on roller
They go
skates?
around on roller skates.
Okay, I see what
That's
this
from
guy
the
likes.
that's from the literal 70s.
Yeah.
That's not a thing, is it? Is that still a thing?
I have to
Yeah.
say that I've seen Wicked about like 10 times, I think. I saw it I'm obsessed with Wicked. It's my favorite musical because I love Wizard of Oz. I saw it like once and I've seen it like I think 6 times in Canada all over, 4 times on Broadway, and I saw it once on West End. And I actually didn't love it on West End.
Mm.
It wasn't I didn't love it as much, but also I think because like they changed some stuff and like they all had which I love the British accent, but it was just different than like the CD, I guess.
Yeah. See, there you go. Boring.
So maybe it's a West End problem. I don't know.
But if
And
anyone connected to the Wicked musical wants to fly me and Matt to New York to watch Wicked as a test,
to compare,
Yeah,
yeah,
let's do
yeah,
that.
we'll do that. We'll
we'll all
do
do
that.
that. We'll just as a test. I'm just throwing that out there to the universe, just in
And
case.
one last one, otherwise we'll be all day talking about musicals, is Book of Mormon. That's
Oh,
really
that was
good.
good. I liked
Yeah.
that. That was funny. It was funny. I wouldn't see it again, but I thought it was funny.
And actually, I lie. One last one, which you might enjoy, the Buddy Holly musical. That is
Oh,
good.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, go and
Interesting. I
check
didn't
it
even know
out.
that was a thing. I will.
Very good. Anyway, we go off at a beautiful tangent at the end.
Yeah, honestly.
Um, have you got any kind of final thoughts about the album coming out that you want to share with us?
I would just say stream it on repeat and
Yep.
then do it again and send it to all of your friends if you like it. Or if you hate it, still send it and be like, check this out. How bad is this? But listen to every single song before you comment.
Even if you don't like it, just leave
Even if
it
you don't,
playing.
you
That's
just
what
keep it
we
on
say
repeat. Yeah.
with yeah, that's what we
I
say.
love that.
Yes.
Great minds think alike.
And you are coming over to Europe in
And
like a matter of weeks, right?
yeah, are you guys coming to a show? Where do you live?
We're
What's your
in
address?
London, just outside of London. The
You should come to
exact
the show. I
address.
think it's May 7th.
Okay, we can
So
do
you
that.
guys, I'll put you on the list.
Yeah,
Tell
amazing. We're in.
whoever you're on email with, tell them. We'll put you on the
Okay,
list.
we will tell them. That'll be
Cool.
cool. That'll be
That'd be
cool.
sick.
Are you excited
I'm
to come
so
back
excited.
over?
So excited. London is always my favorite show on the tour because it's always the biggest and the best crowd, I think.
Genuinely?
Now hang on, right? Because
Oh,
we are based in the London, roughly in the London, and we go so all of the shows we go to in London. And everyone who comes over says from stage, "You guys are the best," and we think that's bullshit.
No. Actually, the best. I
Really?
think people in London, I think, or in the UK and Europe in general, like I feel like music discovery is really important to you guys. Whereas
Hmm.
I think like in Canada and the US, it's kind of like unless they're this like top artist, people aren't really going to like club shows or like smaller venues. But in London, I feel like people are fans of like smaller artists, and I think that's so cool. And yeah, the crowd is always the best. It's my biggest market. Like last year, I put up a 150 cap at like Camden, whatever, like the small one, and it sold out in a day. So I upgraded it. Then that sold out and upgraded. Ended up playing at the Dome, and like so some of my shows were like I guess 200 was like the smallest, but then the Dome was like 525 or
mm,
something. So it was so much bigger than like what I expected to play. And this year I'm playing at Electric Ballroom, which is double that. No, triple
that's
that.
awesome. Yeah.
So it's just crazy. Whereas like, I will go to a different city and it will be like 300 capacity. But that is like way bigger. So it's like I have way more fans in London, and I love that. So I'm gonna make it an extra special show.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's we will look forward to coming along
Okay, please do.
and checking it out with the robot.
Yeah, you'll see my robot. Actually, I dressed him in cheetah print for this tour to match my
course you did.
diary, to match my journal in the album artwork. He was like, "Please don't do this to me," and I was like, "We're doing it."
What an excellent place to end the interview.
Yeah,
Thank you so much for taking your time to chat to
of
us.
course.
Really
Thank
enjoyed.
you.
And good luck with the album and the
Thank you.
shows. And yeah, hopefully we'll see you in London in
Yes,
May.
I better see you. Holding you
We'll be
to it.
there. We'll be
All
there.
right.
Cool. Thank you. We'll speak soon.
Thank you. Okay,
Take
bye.
care.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
And just like that, she was gone.
I did not have musical chat on my bingo card for that interview.